Good Friday morning. Thanks for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Megan McPherson. Sunday marks 1 year since the lawmaker shootings that rocked the state and the country. Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband shot and killed, and Senator John Hoffman and his wife gravely injured. And as we learn more details about that tragic day, the community is working to move forward. Audrey Russo has more on the Hortmans' lasting legacy.
This weekend is certainly a difficult reminder of everything that Minnesota has been through during the last year. Lawmakers at every level are remembering the legacy left behind by Melissa and Mark Hortman.
She spoke truth to power, and she insisted that we treat each other with dignity and respect.
That was Senator Tina Smith on the Senate floor yesterday. Now, looking ahead to this weekend, St. Paul City Council passed a resolution marking Sunday Mark, Melissa, and Gilbert Hortman Day. The city of Brooklyn Park, where the couple live, is also upping patrols out of an abundance of caution. Following the news that the shooter will spend the rest of his life in prison, Senator John Hoffman, who was injured that same night 1 year ago, released a statement saying, in part, "There is not justice when our family and our state will never truly heal." Now, the Hortmans' children have not made a public statement. They have spent really the last year trying to remember and honor their parents' legacy.
This morning, a guilty plea from the man charged in the targeted lawmaker attacks. Vance Belter admitting to a federal judge he planned it for months and targeted others. Under the agreement with prosecutors, Belter pleaded guilty to 6 charges, including stalking, murder, and discharge of a firearm in a crime of violence. And the sides agreed Belter should serve 2 life sentences and an additional 40 years in prison. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office says Belter's plea in federal court does not change things for his state case. The state will pursue 8 state felony charges, including first-degree murder. County Attorney Mary Moriarty says she plans to take Belter to trial, and her office is working with the U.S. Attorney's Office to transfer him into state custody. And we invite you to join us as we look back on the tragedy and how the victims' legacies live on. You can watch it on air this Sunday at 6:30 a.m. You'll also be able to stream it on demand on the free KARE 11 app for your TV. This morning, an update in the war with Iran. President Trump now says a deal to end the war could come as soon as this weekend after announcing an agreement on nuclear weapons. Trump said 10 countries in the Middle East are on board, but Iran has not yet confirmed this. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest.
After 2 nights of attacks in the Middle East, there was relative quiet overnight after President Trump canceled another round of strikes and announced an agreement with Iran was taking shape.
We just made a great settlement of the war with Iran.
The president describing it as a very strong memorandum of understanding.
That is a little conceptual, but it's something that's going to get done.
And saying it accomplishes his central goal.
They will not have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that.
But in a statement, Iran's foreign ministry spokesman said Iran has not yet reached a final decision regarding an agreement and will not compromise on its red lines. In a sign of lingering tensions after the president's announcement, a U.S. official said last night American forces shot down 2 Iranian drones that were trying to strike commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz. The president says those attacks will stop under the New Deal and the strait will fully reopen.
And you'll have oil prices dropping like a rock.
Oil prices did drop on the news, though President Trump has said a deal was close before. He was pressed on why he's convinced this time is different.
Because they've taken a pounding. They've taken a pounding like very few people could take. And they want to make the deal a lot more than it do.
The president saying documents should be finalized in the next few days and predicting a signing in Europe as soon as this weekend, as questions remain about Iran's commitment. Before announcing an agreement was within reach, President Trump said he was considering taking KARE Island, Iran's main oil export hub. That would have been a serious escalation, and lawmakers in both parties raised concerns about potential U.S. boots on the ground under that scenario. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Trending this morning, 2 men are sharing their story after finding a woman who had been missing for 3 days, trapped neck deep in mud near a trail in north central Minnesota. It happened Saturday, about 2.5 hours northwest of the Twin Cities. Lifelong friends Adam Sandbeck and Mike Gravlin say they were exploring new trails when they found a minivan stuck in a mud hole. Right by that van was a 68-year-old woman with only her face peeking up from the ground, surrounded by mud and water. Adam and Mike pulled her out before calling 911.
When we walked up, we thought she was dead. We thought it was just a body. And then she whispered, "Help me." And it scared the crap out of me. All you could see was just the round part of her face, like her mouth, her lips. You couldn't even see her ears. It was all submerged.
Oh, such a scary situation. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office says the woman was taken to a hospital in Brainerd. Adam has spoken to her since, and says she's a strong and determined woman, wishing her all the best. An update this morning, the Minneapolis City Council voted to deny the city's pick to redevelop George Floyd Square. Minneapolis Agape Movement says they wanted to turn the old gas station at 38th Street and Chicago Avenue into a 6-story building with a museum and a cafe. But council members say it wasn't the plan they or the community agreed to, pointing to a survey where they say a majority of the community wanted to go with a different organization. Some council members say this process needs to be more transparent and prioritize the community's wants.
We need to do this right. This has to have the trust of the community because the city of Minneapolis cannot supplement that trust. The city of Minneapolis has been a part of breaking that trust.
Council members Jason Chavez and Soren Stevenson say they'll meet with the mayor next week to decide how to move forward. Now turning to sports, Team USA starting their run in the World Cup against Paraguay. Kickoff set for 8 tonight, so let's introduce you to one of the players taking the field.
Keep a close eye on Weston McKennie. He's definitely a player to watch. This Texas native grew up playing both soccer and American football and is now a midfielder for Juventus FC out of Italy. The 27-year-old who's representing the U.S. has 12 international goals coming into the tournament and is on his way to having his best goal-scoring season of his career. McKennie's a massive Harry Potter fan. He has a lightning bolt tattooed on his finger to represent a magic spell. And he's known for his iconic magic wand goal celebration. Off the pitch, he writes music, taught himself to play piano, and says that he's obsessed with ranch dressing, especially on pizza.
And the FIFA World Cup isn't the only thing happening this weekend. We've got gorgeous weather and a stacked itinerary here in the metro. If you're looking for live music, art, food, and culture all in one place, you can head to Minneapolis for the Midtown Arts and Music Festival at Midtown Global Market. The free 2-day event celebrates the market's 20th anniversary and features live performances from Minnesota musicians, cultural dancers, local artists and makers, plus plenty of global food and shopping options. The festival runs tomorrow and Sunday, and on Saturday, visitors can also take part in Lake Street Mural Day, celebrating the area's vibrant public art scene. It's made possible with help from the Lake Street Lift project. If you're craving a classic summer fair experience, look here. The Hennepin County Fair continues through the weekend at Corcoran Lions Park. Admission and parking are completely free, and visitors can enjoy bounce houses, a reptile exhibit, barnyard adventures, live music, fair food, and even mechanical bull riding and axe throwing. The fair runs daily today and tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then this weekend, for the first time ever, the Flight Sim Expo is landing at the St. Paul River Center. The convention brings together flight simulation fans, home cockpit builders, virtual air traffic controllers, and some real-world pilots too, for hands-on experience with some of the latest flight simulation technology. It runs today through Sunday. Single-day tickets range from $40 to $60, and weekend passes are available for $95. If you're planning a trip to the Boundary Waters, just know you can add campfires back to the itinerary. Fire restrictions are being lifted starting this morning. A ban on campfires, grills, and charcoal or wood fire stoves went into effect June 6th because of dry conditions. If you're making a trip, officials are asking campers to be aware of weather conditions and plan fires accordingly. Stick with us. More news and weather is coming up after the break.